I did have a little bit of a heart attack when I realized, like, oh, I have to sell 3,000 copies in the next 3 weeks. Great. Seasonal products are a very stressful thing for me. They sell really well, generally speaking, but obviously only for a portion of the year, and then you have to guess exactly how many units that you want to stock of said seasonal product for that short period of time, especially when it comes to fall and Christmas. Obviously, seasonal products for spring and summer, that's a much longer time period, and generally those things can be all year. At least I tend to think so when people say like, oh, your products are very springy, and I sell them all year round. It can be very challenging to stock seasonal products at all because obviously like something that is Christmas themed or Halloween themed or fall themed or whatever requires me to create like a whole new pattern or a whole new design or colorway for an item. And that needs to be done well in advance of said season. So like a lot of businesses are working way further in advance than I ever do. Like right now in September of 2025, they're working on like Christmas 2027 or something like that. I would never be capable of such far in advance planning. To be honest, it can be really hard to even just work on Halloween products in like July, which is really late. This year I did work on my Christmas products in like April, May, which is the soonest I have ever been on top of Christmas products. So we're gonna have a lot more Christmassy holiday things than normal, which is exciting. And I'm gonna try and keep that up for next year, fingers crossed. The strategy I'm using is during the Christmas season of this year, I'm going to feel in the Christmas spirit and design some things that hopefully I can use for Christmas next year. And that is actually a really good amount of time because then you can put those Christmas items in whatever order makes the most sense and is most convenient, because obviously I just put my Christmassy pattern or my Halloween pattern on a product that I also have other patterns in, and ordering something like that with a bigger order is going to be more efficient than ordering a specific Halloween or Christmas order. With my Kindle cases, I was not so far ahead on things. So I created these designs in August. These are my 2 Halloween specific Kindle cases. I also made like a couple of kind of like witchy vibe Kindle cases that I'm going to keep all year round, which is Celestial Garden and Mushroom Meadows. So I'm kind of lumping those in with our Halloween release because they're new as well. But these are the Halloween fall specific cases, and I made these in August, very much behind on that, and I had to airship them so they would get here in time, which is expensive. I also did a Halloween themed coloring book, which I would have loved to have in stock sooner than September 22nd, which is when they were delivered, because that means that there's really only 30 days to sell this item that is very specifically Halloween-y, but that is okay because we put it on pre-order. And so there were like 400-ish people who decided to reserve their copy ahead of time. And that does help a lot because we can ship them right now. They have the whole month, a little bit longer, to work on the coloring book, and if they want to save what's left for next year, they can do that too. The biggest problem with these products, and I would say Halloween/fall is a little more concerning. Halloween and fall sell a little worse than Christmas. People are a little more into Christmas than Halloween and fall, in my experience, and I think generally in most people's experience. Also, I tend to think that the Halloween/fall season is weirdly a little bit shorter than Christmas. Like, I think we could put out our Christmas collection right now and get people buying it for September, October, November, and December. Whereas I don't think people are going to be buying Halloween themed stuff in July, August, September, and October. I think it's really more of a September, October thing because people are really in summer mode. Obviously, people are sensitive about when Christmas is relevant, and at least I think most people want to at least wait till after Halloween, but there are definitely people out there who will get on their Christmas stuff sooner than that. So, okay, when I ordered my Halloween Kindle cases and my Halloween coloring book, I kind of just went back and looked at the orders because we just got them in and was like, oh, I was very optimistic about the number of sales I think I would get of these items. And I did order quite a lot of them. I think I got 3,600 Halloween-y cases, although I will say there were the 2 patterns that I feel like are kind of evergreen, but I am nervous because there's gonna be like 4 weeks that these are relevant. And I think there are people out there who, first of all, this one can go through Thanksgiving, so this is like a November-y possibility. Also, I think this one is definitely more Halloween coded, but I know there are people out there who just like spooky stuff all year, and that's great. But I think obviously like the seasonality is kind of the big thing. So makes me really nervous. It doesn't mean that I can't keep these for next year. It's just like putting them in a box, hauling them out next year, and then also having like the investment I tied up in these kind of sitting around is a bummer. Obviously, I didn't get that many, so it's not like a big problem like a product, like a whole product category that I have 20,000 units of that isn't selling. That's more of a big deal than like the 500 Kindle cases or something that I have that won't sell. But I am crossing my fingers and hoping that these will move. If you are nervous about holiday stuff, like I kind of thought like, if I don't sell these Kindle cases, it's not the end of the world. There's only 2 designs of them. But if you are kind of nervous about holiday stuff, making it a little bit more holiday light could be an option, at least for like a couple of the sort of designs or SKUs or whatever, just so that like they could be relevant all year, like Celestial Garden and Mushroom Meadows, which I'm having a part of my Halloween release, but I think are good at all times. Or in my Christmas collection, Winter Poppies is like red and green, but it's not like Christmas. I will say the items that sell best seasonally do scream Halloween or Christmas or whatever the season is. But if you want to just build out a collection, I think kind of like having a couple that are like, bam, holiday, seasonal, and then having some supporting characters that could still sell at other points of the year may be a good formula. And it's something I have done and have felt good about. So that's a thought. When it comes to my coloring book, truly when we received these, I got 3,000 copies. And for reference, I get 2,000 copies of most of my coloring books just as a default. And when I got the 3,000, I thought, why have I done this? Why have I done this with a seasonal coloring book? Initially, I was thinking, oh, I just knew she was going to be a good seller, but she is a good seller. She sold way better on pre-order than any other pre-order coloring book we've had. So I am very optimistic about her. But I did not consider, oh, these are really not going to sell after October 31st. But then I remembered I also ordered these when there was still a big threat of tariffs looming. And so I kind of wanted to make sure we had enough of these that I'd be able to stock it for next Halloween as well at a reasonable price and not like 1.5 times the cost because of additional tariffs. So I did feel better when I woke up literally this morning and remembered that I did this because I wanted to have some in stock for next year. As much as that sucks to have to keep product that isn't really going to sell for a whole year, it's better than releasing this one time and then not really being able to stock it again if tariffs get really out of hand. So that was my thought process there, which made me feel better. But I did have a little bit of a heart attack when I realized like, oh, I have to sell 3,000 copies in the next 3 weeks. Great. Because that is a bit of a stretch for me, I will say.
The good thing though is that at least coloring books will transport people. That's what we've seen with some of our other books. Whereas like if it's decor, you're like, it's
True.
Up for the season, it's gone. A coloring book you can always dabble into when you're feeling nostalgic.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. I would say like considering the type of product it is really important. Like something that is decor or more of an accessory, it's probably going to be kind of contained to the season. For example, Coastal Americana, very summery book, very East Coast in the summer, but I do think people will color in it all year round because it is kind of an escapist thing. Like you don't have to only read a beach read book on the beach. And so I will say I think that is something going for Sweet and Spooky. Like some people do like ghosts and skeletons all year. So that's a good thing too. And I really just didn't want to sell out of it because I hate selling out of my coloring books because they're a very special product to me. And that's more of just an emotional thing is like, I really want to have them available for people and it makes me feel good that like people really enjoy coloring in them and stuff. So making sure that they are available for purchase and not out of stock all the time is a big one for this particular product for me. So yeah, lots to consider when it comes to a holiday product. Like I would say as a rule of thumb, I order like less than half of the number of units that I would order for any other product, because if they don't sell, then you are stuck with them, and that sucks. I would much rather sell out of something, because you're probably going to sell out when there's maybe only 1 or 2 weeks left that they would be relevant anyway. And then that way your customers also know, if I want my seasonal item like next year, I need to order early. So that's good for you. But there can be other circumstances that could change that calculation. Also, just like, don't be too hard on yourself if you order too many of a holiday product. I would say it's definitely better to try a seasonal product to keep your customers interested in your brand all year round than it is to do nothing. And I've done nothing for so many years that I would much rather like over order and be able to have something fun and seasonal and exciting, because I do think, at least for me personally, just like feeling the seasonality of the year can really just make life a little bit better. And so being able to offer that to your customers and even just for yourself can be like really fun. So highly recommend doing seasonal products as someone who has barely done them ever. I feel like it's good for sales, it's good for customers. And even if you make some mistakes with the inventory, just know that can be super tricky and super hard, and that's okay. And you always have next year. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Please let me know if you have any suggestions or questions in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe as well.